I opened the book and in I strode. Now nobody can find me. I left my chair, my house, my road, my town, and my world behind me. I'm wearing the cloak, I slipped under it. I swallowed the magic potion, dined with a king. I fought with a dragon and dived in a bottomless ocean. I opened the book and made some friends. I shared their tears and laughter and followed the road with its bumps and bends to the happily ever after. I finished my book and out I came. The cloak can no longer hide me. My chair and my house are just the same. I have a book inside me.
Please welcome to the stage MRA President Marlene Correa.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. This is day 2 of Literacy Ignited with Holly Benishevitz as our conference chair. If you are joining us today for the first time, we extend a warm welcome and thank you for being here. My friends at MRA who know me know that I enjoy quotes. So I'd like to start us off this morning with one that reads, "Those who dare to teach must never cease to learn." That was a quote from a longtime librarian back in 1912, John Cotton Dana. And all of you are here today because you exemplify the message in that quote. Whether it's learning how to motivate that hard-to-reach student, or how to find the perfect book for that reluctant reader, or how to differentiate for the diverse children in front of you, or how to use new technology, or try a new approach. It's about continuous learning. Yesterday, Kathy Collins, in her opening keynote, talked about the importance of building relationships with our children and with our colleagues. She also talked about finding joy, the quiet and the loud joy. We hope that today, while you are here with us, you will experience both. At this time, I have just a few short announcements before we begin our day. This year, we have a photo scavenger hunt. It's called MRA Click, and it's in your app. Yesterday, it was a big hit. We had many people using the feature. We hope that you'll join us again today. The winner, the complimentary, it's complimentary registration for our conference next year, as well as a one-night stay at the Marriott Hotel. But we also have many other prizes that have been generously donated by our sponsors and our publishers. Please note that if you played yesterday and you'd like to play again today, you need to close the app and refresh it in order to play today. You must also be present at our closing keynote speaker in order to win. Speaking of the closing keynote, if you heard a little bit of Marvin Turbin yesterday, you know that you'll be surely entertained, and we'd like to invite you to join us and stay for that closing keynote. The vendor tables today will close at 1 o'clock, so if you'd like to visit the vendors, please do so by 1 p.m. And also please visit our membership table where there's a raffle, and you can learn more about MRA. MRA will turn 50 next year. We are very excited and we are very proud of our organization. Please join us and save the dates of April 3rd, 4th, and 5th so you can join us next year for our celebration. Remember, at the conclusion of the conference, you will receive a link to an evaluation tool. It will also be accessible on your app, and we ask that you give us your comments and your ratings so that we can continue to improve the experience for everyone. Unfortunately, there is one canceled session. It's an 11:30 session called Literacy, Robotics, and Engineering, and the presenters were unable to be with us here today. I believe those are all of the announcements, and now we can move on with some of the important things on our agenda. We will begin with a special presentation, and so I would invite Mayor Martin Walsh to the stage. MRA has an advocacy committee who works year-round on local and national education policy decisions. They are also tasked with finding us state leaders who have made a difference in the causes we believe in. I would like to thank the advocacy committee for their work, and especially the chair, Evelyn Wall. MRA chooses a policymaker who has promoted programs and the appropriation of funding to improve the literacy skills of the children and the residents in our state. As mayor of Boston, you have worked to support literacy and education for all Boston residents, preschool to adult. Your goal has been to promote lifelong literacy and to develop educational pathways with an emphasis on empowering Bostonians to fulfill their educational and their employment aspirations. Each year since taking office, you have substantially increased funding for education by adding millions of dollars to the education budget. In 2014, recognizing the need to provide access to quality early childhood education, you created the Universal Pre-K Advisory Committee. Since that time, you have added over 1,000 pre-K seats to high-quality, free early childhood programs in Boston. In addition to expanding early childhood education, you have focused on strengthening Boston schools through funding extended learning time, advanced curriculum at more schools, support for branch libraries, and securing tuition-free community college for Boston school graduates. Big deal. Your commitment to improving the literacy skills and closing the achievement and the opportunity gap of all Boston students and residents is recognized and appreciated by the Massachusetts Reading Association. At this time, I will read the award that we are presenting to the mayor. It reads, Massachusetts Reading Association, an affiliate of the International Literacy Association, 2017-2018 Reading Advocate Award, presented to Mayor Martin J. Walsh for leadership in promoting legislation and funding for literacy education initiatives in Boston and the Commonwealth.
Thank you. I should really clap in for all of you, the teachers, the educators, the coaches, the advocates, all the people in this room. I want to thank all of you. This is an honor for me. It's really not my award. This is what's happening in the city of Boston, and there's a lot of people that do the work every single day, the teachers in our schools, the principals in our schools, the leadership at our central office, and the kids in our classrooms. So on behalf of all of those folks, I want to thank you for this recognition today. I want to thank all the members of the Massachusetts Reading Association, and a special shout out to the Boston educators here. I know we have teachers from the Mason, from the Matt Charter School, and other schools in Boston, so thank you for what you do every day. Thank you for the other schools and other teachers from around the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I've met a bunch of people in the front here, and everyone is happy today, so this is a good conference when you go to and everybody is happy. You know, we have a couple of people I want to just mention. I want to mention Mary O'Brien, who's here. She's a grade 2 teacher from the Henderson Inclusion School in Dorchester, and we could not be more proud of the Henderson, and I've known Mary for a long time. And the kids in that school love that school because the teachers, the way that they teach, the way that they interact with the kids and the families, it's just an amazing school in the city of Boston. And you can see, I see oftentimes when I walk into a school, I can tell pretty much right away how the culture in that school is, because I watch the interaction between the students and the teachers and the principals and the leadership. And if everyone is smiling and everyone is talking, you know that that school's successful. So again, thank you to all the teachers that are here. I also want to give Sean Themes a shout out from Read Boston, who's one of our year-round literacy programs in the city of Boston. So thank you, Sean, for what you do every single day. Congratulations on your 50th anniversary. 50 years of supporting educators, 50 years of advocating for students of all ages and all needs, and adults as well. Because when you talk about literacy, I know that part of that is making sure we have adult literacy programs in the state and the Commonwealth, something that's really important to us. Thank you for that advocacy. Thank you for bringing research and evidence to the table, something that is so extremely important, particularly today, but all the time, but really today, about how do we make sure that the investments that we're making are investments that are actually making a difference. I want to thank you for that. 50 years for pushing our society to understand that literacy is the fundamental to everything that we hope to achieve. So this organization is so important, and we need you as much today as 50 years ago when this organization was started. It's something that we cannot stop. We have to continue to move forward. We talk an awful lot about the problem of income inequality. We talk about youth violence and substance abuse. We talk about civic engagement and voter apathy, but the solutions to these problems are in this room, and you have them. It's literacy, it's education, it's lifelong learning. And that's what we really have to continue to push as we move forward. And as mayor, these are the goals that I prioritize. You are the kind of leaders that I listen to and work with. And that's why in Boston Public Schools, in 5 years, we've raised our budget by $170 million. Our budget is now over $1.1 billion. It's higher than that. I'm actually going to make an announcement tomorrow about our budget. But we're spending about $20,000 per student for about 57,000 kids. Which it seems like a lot of money, and is a lot of money, but when you think about the challenges that we face as an urban school district, sometimes we say, well, that's not enough. But we're trying to continue to improve, not just in the financing inside the school. We launched what's called Build BPS, a $1 billion facilities program. 2/3 of the schools in the city of Boston were built before World War II. Our schools need libraries, they need kitchens, they need technology, they need special needs facilities. We have 4 schools already in the process of being renovated and reconstructed in the city of Boston. So we're going to continue to get on a plan where we can reinvest and build all of our schools to make sure that we have, when our children walk into a school, they walk into a 21st century school, not a school that was built in the 19th or 20th century. It's something that's really important for us. We're also investing in our Boston Public Libraries. We've renovated the central library. We've made some huge investments on Boylston Street and Copley Square. But we're making a $100 million investment in our neighborhood libraries all across the different areas so that our library system will be the best in the nation in the city of Boston. Libraries are a place where reading turns from skill into passion, especially in some of our lower income neighborhoods. We are making our entire city a classroom. We're going to continue to move there. We've extended the school day. When I ran for mayor of Boston 5 years ago, we were criticized for having the shortest school day in the country. With the help of sitting down with the teachers and the teachers union and all of us together, we're able to come up with an extension of 40 minutes added to our day, which amounts to a month of additional learning in a year for our young people. We've been developing groundbreaking curriculum, more rigorous innovation, more culturally responsive than ever before. That's especially true in reading. Nearly half our students speak a language other than English at home. They are first-generation Americans, like I was. They need to see themselves reflected in that way so they can, in their reading, so they can learn from that. Most importantly, we've doubled down on early childhood education. It's literally where it all begins. I know that we talk about what we've done in the city, adding 1,000 pre-K seats, which is great, but we have about 3,000 kids that are looking for pre-K seats. And not just pre-K seats, high-quality pre-kindergarten seats. And we're working with the legislature at the State House to make this happen. I was a legislator. I love my colleagues at the State House. We've been talking about universal pre-kindergarten for 20 years. We don't need to talk about it anymore. We know that it works. The studies show that it works. It shows the better outcomes. If we want to make investments that make a difference, that's the investment that probably makes the biggest difference, because it solves a lot of the other social issues that we have to pay for later on down the road if we don't put the money up front for our young people. I know a lot of you in this room are familiar with the word gap. By the age of 5, low-income children have heard 30 million fewer words than their peers. The effects of early literacy and more has a lifelong, lasting impact in our schools, in careers, in wages. So we have to make sure that intervention begins at birth. It's something that's really important. We launched a program called Boston Basics. It's a partnership with the Black Philanthropy Fund and the Achievement Gap Initiative at Harvard. It shares parenting and caregiving strategies to help young brains develop and gives children a more equal start. And finally, we talked a little bit about the high-quality pre-kindergarten program that we have to do. These classrooms that we have are the gold standard. They're proven by research to close achievement gaps and by closing the opportunity gaps. And we're going to continue to fight till we get those seats fully funded. The good news is, as I said earlier, we have a pathway because all of our elected officials, all of our legislature are talking about it. Not every school system in this room needs early pre-kindergarten, but most of us do. So it's important. The one thing I'll ask you to do is make sure when you see your elected officials, when you see your selectmen and your town managers and your city council and your mayors, and when you see your state representatives and state senators, just put that bug in their ear. Explain to them the importance of that. Explain to them what it actually means to have good, high-quality early childhood education across the board, so that they understand, hearing from you, the experts in the room, that they understand how important this is. We created an infrastructure for a universal pre-kindergarten program. We have a bill that's going to fund it through the legislature, and we brought in our nonprofit partners. So when we think about universal pre-kindergarten, it's not just about Boston Public Schools or charter schools educating all our young people. It's also about allowing some of our nonprofits to do a really good job of universal pre-kindergarten and working with them on pathways. So when a parent sends their kid to a Boys and Girls Club or a YMCA for universal pre-K, they know when they go to kindergarten, they will know in Boston where they're going to kindergarten. And we're working on a pathway, so that's something, again, that's really important. In Boston, we're proud of the progress we've made. Today, we're releasing our 2017 scores on the National Assessment of Education Progress, known as the Nation's Report Card. Our 4th graders and 8th graders, despite all their challenges, are reading at a national level and are improving every single year. Thank you. We are one of only 2 large districts to make large gains in 8th grade reading last year, and our English language learners scored the highest in the nation in reading in 4th grade. It's a testament to reading, research, innovation, and investment. And it's a testament to great teaching and the work of the great teaching organizations like Mass Reading Association. Before I finish with this, before I end here, I just want to thank you all for your work. You know, when I give my speech here today, I talk about the positive things that happen in our district, and there's a lot of great things. But there's still a lot of work we have to do. We can't rest. We can't stop. Because if you rested or stopped, you wouldn't be here learning today. You wouldn't be here having this conference on how do you get better education in our schools. So we do have a lot of work. So I look forward to working with this organization in the future. I wish you another 50 years of success. Our Commonwealth and our country needs you more than ever. Now, thank you for being here today. And I have one other recognition that I'd just like to read here today. It's a proclamation from the city of Boston. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because you don't need to hear me say the whole thing, but a group of Massachusetts dedicated educators met in 1969 to form the Massachusetts Reading Association, an organization dedicated to promoting literacy for all learners through professional development, research, publications, and advocacy. Literacy and the ability to read views write, design, speak, and listen allows us to communicate effectively. And literacy is critical to individual communities and the state's well-being. Our economy is enhanced when learners have higher literacy levels. 50 years later, the Massachusetts Reading Association continues to lead educational organizations that advocate for literacy of all learners. The City of Boston honors the Massachusetts Reading Association for its 5 decades of sharing literacy information, expertise, and resources through professional development, publications, and media. Now, I'm Martin J. Walsh, Mayor of the City of Boston, do hereby proclaim April 10th to be Massachusetts Reading Association Day. I know we're in Quincy, in the City of Boston. And I'm taking honors from Mayor Koch and in the City of Quincy. So I want to congratulate all of you on this great accomplishment of 50 years. Thank you for being a part of this great association.